Today on Hey, We're Talking.
It's Revenge of the Flat Earth.
Hey, Flat Earth people, we don't start talking about it until about 18 minutes in, so stick with us.
Yeah, it's after the chocolate mayo. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Hey, We're Talking. It's me, Scotty D. I got my friends here with me, the Derek Tant. He's also known as the mayor of the YTPC, is that correct?
That is correct. Mayor.
And then,
apparently.
you know what the funny thing is?
Thank
he's
you,
the
Mr.
mayor, and you're Bob Peel over here is smoking a pipe. But the mayor is not smoking at the moment.
I'm in the studio.
That's
I'm in the
true.
guest room.
You're in the guest room, and you got to keep that clean for the guests.
You need
That's
to get
actually-
a rabbit air and just smoke it up in
Those
there.
things are very expensive and maybe not that great. In fact, when we talked to Tim from Cigars Daily, he did not recommend that one. I think he talked about it, but he recommended something else. I don't remember the name of it.
No, I think that's the one he said was
Are you
good.
sure? We need to.
Yeah.
This would be
He
the
said the
perfect time to
ozone
like
one or
roll the
whatever.
tape. Well, let's find out what Tim from Cigars Daily said. Roll the tape. All right. Yeah,
Brr, brr,
exactly.
brr, 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 brr.
All right, so here we are back again. Derek is like looking off. If you're not watching on video, you don't get to see the greatness that is Derek's faces as we talk. Go ahead.
My wife is painting this room.
Is it like a new color?
It's a different shade. It's trying to be lighter. The thing is that all the rooms, like the bedrooms have a certain shade, the kitchen has a different shade, the living room has a different shade, and we didn't really like
all
get them
beige
written
shades
down.
or colors?
No, they're like green. It's like this.
It's hard
like
to
this
tell on
light.
camera. I'm sorry. It's not a traditional green. It looks like, is it like a khaki green or what?
Yeah, kind of like an
Okay.
olive green, but it's in that family. They have different tiers, and it's hard to match them up. And so she wanted to try to touch up the walls a little
it's
bit,
always
and we
difficult.
couldn't get it matched up, and so we have to just
Start over.
do the whole thing. Yeah.
Where do you get your paint from?
Sherwin-Williams.
There should be a little sticker on the can of paint, and all you do is take that sticker and say, "Hey, this is the paint I want," and they'll make it.
But we don't know what this was from before. We don't know
He's
the
saying
original
this was
paint
there before they got there.
Yeah, the guy that did it. The guy that did it. We didn't have a heart. It's a thing.
Long story.
We're
Short
working on
story
it. She's
long.
changing up the color anyway. She's gonna change up the color to her tastes, which I trust.
So, by the way, this weekend, I just so happened to be up late. I think we were on that Voxer chat, the social HWT chat, and I was sitting there, and I was editing some video for another thing, and I turned on the TV while I was editing video, just to kind of have it going in the background, and lo and behold, Borat was on, and I have to tell you, the way that he says "my wife" is more like, it's like we overdo it. We really do. Because like, with my wife, like that. He's like that, and we're like, my wife. Like, we're really. I think ours is funny too, but he did not say it that way, and I was actually kind of sad. I was looking forward to hearing Borat just go, my wife, but he doesn't do that.
I looked it up just to see if I could get a good drop of that, and there's
goes,
not really a good
"My wife."
opportunity.
That's all he does.
Yeah, because he just says it very bland, and Derek's taking it to the next level.
He made it his own. That.
He's.
No, I'm getting that off. That's all Boontar, man.
Boontar came up with my wife.
Yeah. I mean, we're y'all ascribe that to me, but
you're the famous guy, okay? Like, you have people in other countries
Yeah.
all over the world, other continents that are saying it the Derek way. My wife. They're saying it like that.
Well, I gotta say, Boontar was famouser than me
Not
first.
now. Look at that YouTube subscriptions on Derek Tant.
Well, that's just because Boontar's not doing it as much.
You have
not
been
as active.
consistent. That is the key. You have not stopped making videos. You do it like clockwork. I don't know if it's every single certain day, but you do make sure that you're providing content, and that's what keeps you fresh. That's what keeps you on top of mind, right?
Yeah.
See? There you go.
There you go.
Did we lose everybody? Are we going too inside a little bit?
I think so.
Little
I'm bored
Listen.
to death.
little inside baseball about how YouTube analytics works
let me
or
just
whatever.
Say
How to hack
one
the
last
algorithm.
thing about Borat. As I was watching it, it was on like a regular TV channel where it's called Audience Network. It's on DirecTV. It's like AT&T's own little TV network. And they let a lot of stuff go, but they did put black bars in front of Borat and the guy when they wrestled naked on the bed. They covered up their schwanzes.
Hoo-haws.
So there you go. But it was funny because the black bar is like moving all over the place while they're wrestling naked. Because the guy that's on top of Borat is huge fat.
I think that was in the movie.
No.
I've only
In the
seen
real movie, you unfortunately see full frontal, terrible schwanzes in your face. Oh, yeah. It's horrible.
Well, speaking of weird movies, this is
transition.
This is the the banter that I had set aside to talk about actually flows.
That's good.
Into this. I watched the most bizarre movie last night. It was my night off, and I'd got the Amazon Prime, and I'd heard about this movie from 2016, starring Colin Farrell, and I wanted to see it, and I did.
I know what it is. The Lobster.
What is it? Yes,
she
The Lobster.
was furious that she watched it. She was just like,
"Is it better? Is it better than The Room?"
It is better than The Room. Yes,
but
it is.
The way Cheryl described it to me, it sounds pretty terrible. But Derek, go ahead. Tell everybody what it's about.
No, I mean, as a memorable movie, there's not going to be anything that tops The Room, Bob. But as like a well-made, well-acted, well-conceived movie, The Lobster is really good. But it's the thing with this guy. This guy does a bunch of different movies like this. It's set in a universe where the rules are different. Where just everything is it's off. Everything is bizarre. In this world, in The Lobster, you have to have a partner. You have to be with somebody. And if you're not, if you break up with somebody, or you get a divorce, or you find yourself newly single, you have to go to this hotel, and you're there for 45 days, and you mingle with other people, and try to fall in love. And if you don't fall in love, you get turned into an animal.
Wow.
Yes, it's bizarre.
That sounds terrible.
Bizarre.
It's bizarre, but it's just fascinating. I mean,
the concept is interesting. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely something that you could say to yourself, "Oh, that's kind of a cool idea." But then,
that's the idea of independent film, though. Is the idea is that we have this weird concept, we have this weird construct that we have this different set of rules in this universe that we're going to be dealing with, and this movie is exploring that a little bit, just a little slice of life into this universe, and it's interesting.
I watched 2 movies recently.
What did you see? I'm telling you, this means we really have to figure out how to get a theme song for this. Okay, go ahead.
So I watched Super Troopers for the first time.
Love that
movie.
movie.
Once before, but I forgot about it, and I watched it.
It was funny, but not like over the top funny. I mean, it was funny. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like over the top funny. But I am looking forward to Super Troopers 2 now that I know the backstory and everything like that. Then I finally saw The Amazing Spider-Man, which was the most recent Spider-Man with Iron Man in it.
So the first one,
and I thought,
is there 2 of those now, or is there just one?
I don't think so. I think there's one. This is kind of a reboot of the Spider-Man, young kid in his teenagers,
he's in the
his
Avengers
teenage
movie, right?
years. Yeah. So this was kind of his introduction into the Avengers, and I thought that was a really well done movie. I thought it was good. I think some of the CGI was a little bad in a few spots, but because I really look at that because I just want to see how it is. But I think overall, I'm glad they didn't redo the whole Spider-Man story and all that crap that he already knew he had.
What's that? What's her name?
something
What's her
changed.
name? I forget.
I don't know, but my wife said she's like
Derek, you know who I'm talking
My wife
about.
says she's like
Marissa
50 or
Tomei?
something.
Marissa Tomei is the aunt. What's her aunt? What?
Oh.
It's not Aunt B. That's the Andy Griffith show.
Aunt
May.
B.
Is it Aunt May?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, she's the aunt that takes care of Peter Parker.
Look, these Spider-Man movies have been rebooted and rebooted again. I haven't even seen the first reboot. I didn't even watch Spider-Man Part 3. All right, I heard that one was
You didn't watch the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans?
I watched the first two.
The first two were good.
I mean, this is like 10, 15 years ago. I was in the military when the first Spider-Mans came out.
Yeah, Scott, you were just, being at home watching Spider-Man while Derek was fighting for this country.
And then the new ones, the ones after that were Andrew Garfield, right?
I never saw those.
Those were pretty good.
I didn't see those, and
they
then
had Emma Stone in them.
And then
they were good.
But they kept redoing it. Now there's another guy.
Yeah, I know.
Come on,
because the people that have
Dennis Leary's Spider-Man?
Dennis Leary was Emma Stone's dad, and he was the commissioner or the police chief or whatever.
I mean, I would watch Dennis Leary be Spider-Man.
No,
I think
Dennis
that'd be
Leary
great.
can't be Spider-Man.
No, I think that would be awesome.
I love Dennis Leary. I wish he was in more stuff. He's in one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time, The Ref. So keep that on the list.
So who is the chick that was in this one?
Zendaya. She was like on Disney Channel. She's
No, there was the aunt in this most recent
Marissa
movie.
Tomei.
What was her name?
She was in My Cousin Vinny. She's been in all sorts of stuff, but that's her big claim to fame. Wasn't she nominated for an Oscar for that? I believe she was.
Yeah.
She may have even won the Oscar that year. We'll have to check on that. But, Derek, you should watch those Spider-Mans. They're good, man. At least the first one with Andrew Garfield's good, and this newest one is pretty good. The only thing is that they push a few things in the movie that you're just like, okay.
Look, I am still way far behind in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I like it. Yeah. I really like it. I like Iron Man. I like the Avengers. I need to watch Black Panther. I need to watch more of Thor and Captain America. And I know the new Avengers came out, but when it comes down to it, I'd rather probably just watch Super Troopers again.
No,
because that is a funny movie.
I cannot wait for this Avengers movie.
That movie came out when I was in the military. I was a cop, and it just spoke to us. It spoke to my entire peer group. We were quoting that movie nonstop. It was.
How old do you think Marissa
She's
Tomei
gotta be
is?
50 years old, maybe 52.
53.
Yeah.
But
it's okay.
Man, she looks good for 53.
She's no longer one of those
She's
Utes.
not a Ute.
She's not a Ute
anymore.
That's
from My Cousin Vinny.
Utes. Yeah.
That's what the judge said. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why
the guy the two Utes.
Herman
and the judge
Munster,
is like,
right?
"What's a Ute?"
The other person, by the way, Derek, that's in the new Spider-Man, Michael Keaton. He's the bad guy. How do you like that?
Yeah.
So Batman,
it was a good movie.
Batman is the bad guy.
So you got Batman, the DC hero, is now the villain in a Marvel film.
You know
what's going on?
Was Michael Keaton the best
it was
Batman
called Spider-Man
ever?
Homecoming.
Or no. Okay.
No. I love Christian
I
Bale.
agree. But a lot of people will argue.
I mean, he's just the Dark Knight. So that's the thing about Batman. So if you go back through time, the original comic books, were
this
that
is the super nerdy part of the broadcast. Go ahead.
No, the original comic books were that goofy Batman and Robin and all that crap. And I think Batman was on his own before that. But once they started transitioning into the darker stuff, I think that's what propelled Batman to be BA. I mean, he became awesome at that point. So
no love for Val Kilmer. Come on.
No.
You know who was the worst?
I know.
What's his name? Yeah.
Clooney.
Ugh. Clooney, and then.
And I really like Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
I gotta
be
honest.
Just one of those guys that I grew up with him doing funny movies, and so I've always loved him.
Mm-hmm.
When he did Mr. Mom and Gung Ho, which probably most people have not seen, but as a person growing up in Detroit, Michigan at the time, it was about the automotive industry, and I loved it. Same with Mr. Mom. That took place in Detroit, technically. So, Yeah. Michael Keaton.
But I will say I never ever expected Ben Affleck to be a good Batman.
I like that you call them Affleck. Affleck.
Yeah, Affleck. But I never expected him to be a good Batman.
Bad.
When I heard that, I'm just like, no, I thought he did a great job.
I'm amazed
when I heard
how much
it, I'm like,
people are
oh,
so ticked
gosh.
off about it. And I'm like, I don't understand what you hate this guy so much for.
No, when they first said it, I'm like, I just cannot see him as Batman. And then he became Batman, and I'm like, he's an awesome Batman. So yeah, it's the Batman. I'm glad they've kind of done the dark side of it, because to me that makes Batman more awesome.
What do you think of his suit in Batman versus Superman, though? I hated the Batman suit. Did you like it? It was like real
it was all right.
Big and clunky. It was. Look at Derek is so uninterested in this. I can't.
No, I am. I'm thinking, because like I really like the Marvel stuff. I tried to watch some of these newer DC films. I tried to watch Suicide Squad.
Yeah, it's not.
Hated it. I couldn't get into it.
No, that wasn't a very good movie.
And I keep hearing, I want to watch Batman versus Superman, but I hear it's just so serious. It's not fun. I watched Wonder Woman, and that was okay.
That one,
everyone was like,
Wonder Woman was
really
was good.
It was good, but like, I'm like, man, I don't want to watch a bunch of films in this universe, because it's like, so serious, so dark. It's like, come on, let's have some fun.
Yeah, I was not.
You can fly.
Justice League has more comedy in it because of the character that they have that plays Flash, and Aquaman has got some funny lines too.
Well, Justice League got trashed by reviews, but I watched it and enjoyed it.
It was not bad at all.
I thought it was good. Again, there was some CGI in there that I'm like,
that one.
Come on, guys, you could have spent a little more time on that and made it better. But other than that, the story behind it was good.
CGI on Justice League. The whole point, I talked to you guys about this. Superman at the time, the guy who plays Superman, Brendan, what's his name? I forget. Gosh dang it, I wish I remembered people's names. Not Brendan Fraser. That would be funny if he was Superman.
That would be horrible.
But the guy who plays...
Hey guys, I'm going to fly.
He had a big old mustache for Mission Impossible, and he couldn't shave it. So they CGI'd, and his mouth looks weird the whole time he's in the movie. They CGI'd out the mustache, and it looks terrible.
Probably because they put like a green thing over his mouth just to get rid of it.
It was really weird. They actually talked about not putting the movie out because of it and trying to fix it, and everybody was like, "No, we don't have time." So they just put it out.
What character was that for?
Superman.
Oh.
So the point is, guys, watch The Lobster. It's pretty good. It's very
All right, listen. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we've got a new segment that Bob's going to try out on us, and we'll tell you all about.
Way to sell it, Scott. Way to sell it, Scott. Like, then we're going to try it out.
I don't want to say too much about it because I want to introduce it when we come back. I'm teasing
Right when we come back? What about our topic?
I'm going to tease them. We'll be back.
What about our topic?
Talk about our topic after we tease them with the segment. Listen, guys, I get paid to do this. Okay, I'm the host of the show. I've got it all on track. I know where we're going.
I don't get paid to do any of this.
I get paid with the love of our fans. But this is what I get paid for. Let me handle it. We'll take care of it when we get out of this break. We'll get on track, and I'll take us right where we need to go. Okay, just trust me. I'll take you for a wonderful ride.
We'll jump on your ship.
We'll be right back. Today's show is brought to you by GoDaddy. Buy your own domain name, build your site, or use any of GoDaddy's business tools and save 30%. Just go to trygodaddy.com/HWT. That's trygodaddy.com/HWT. All right, we're back. And now you were teased before, and now I'm going to tell you what's going on. Okay, Bob has this idea. When he first presented it, he just said, let's do some fake news. And I was like, dude, nobody wants to hear fake news. But we're calling it fake news, but actually what we're saying is today, Bob's doing 4 stories he's going to tell us about. 3 of them are true. Is that correct? 3 are fake.
Nope. 3 of them are false.
Only 1 is true.
One of them is
real. Derek and I are going to try and figure out. We each get to decide which one we think is true, and then Bob's going to tell us if we're right or wrong, right? Okay, so
Yep. So
fake
what
news.
what we'll do is I'll just roll through
Okay.
the first one. They're just snippets.
Fake news.
So, yeah, that's the theme
Derek
song.
was making a
Obviously,
fake news
Derek just made it up.
song
I was trying to keep
I
my
liked
energy
it.
up.
It's
We're like
good.
in this. We're in the break, and Bob's trying to
I know,
pull up
'cause
everything, and
he's got a
I'm
Mac that
I'm
he got,
getting restless.
and so he's trying to learn how to
I'm trying to
use it
get
'cause
used
he's-
to some of the
He's
Mac
been
stuff.
indoctrinated by using a Windows PC for his entire life. Okay. Bob, let's hear the stories. This is story number 1, numero uno. Go ahead.
Okay. Coca-Cola is to launch 3 new flavors of its sugar-free Zero brand, claims the LA Times. The avocado, sourdough, and espresso flavored soft drinks have been conceived to appeal to the brunch-loving, superfood snacking millennials, the newspaper says.
That's story number 1. We're not going to decide yet. Okay. So story number 1 is Coke. Okay. I'm writing it down.
Coke flavors.
Writing it
Yeah,
down. Coke.
Coca-Cola.
Okay. Number 2.
So it's their sugar-free
so like the Coke
Zero
Zero
brand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So condiment company Heinz, which you guys know them for ketchup and everything else like that, has brought us news of a new product to compete with the ever-growing Nutella market. Their new chocolate mayonnaise would be an ideal spread on toast, a bagel, or added to cake batter. It is currently for sale in test markets around the U.S. and if everything goes as planned, should be on your store at your store.
Derek, we're
this
laughing,
summer.
but what if all of them are this ridiculous? It's going to be tough. Okay.
I know.
Number 3.
But I'm like chocolate mayonnaise. It's like, oh, come on.
Let me ask you, do you guys like bacon?
Who doesn't like bacon?
Yes.
Okay, you'll love this story then. So a new product on the market is called JD's Bacon Lube. It's a water-based, proudly made in America, and it meets the gold standard for meat-flavored massage oils.
Okay. See, this one actually... Okay, I'm not going to say anything yet.
They only made a small quantity of this pork-flavored nectar, and it's available while supplies last. It's like $20 for a bottle. And by the way, it is vegetarian and vegan
thank
safe.
goodness. Okay.
Throwing that out
Number
there.
4, here we go. This is it.
So, as reported by Bloomberg, they explained that Starbucks, the coffee giant, will be introducing 3 new flavors of Frappuccinos this summer: movie theater popcorn, cheese, and extremely popular avocado. These flavors were picked by a study after a study of 1,000 millennials showed that they would drink them regularly.
Okay. All right. So just to recap,
All right.
story number 1, Coke flavors, their Coke Zero line. Heinz, I don't remember what that one was.
Chocolate mayonnaise.
Chocolate mayonnaise.
The bacon-flavored lube.
Bacon
And the
lube.
Starbucks flavors that includes movie theater buttered popcorn. Okay.
Yep, cheese and extremely
Avocado.
popular
All right.
avocado.
All right. Derek, I'm going to let you go first.
All right.
Just the one that's
Okay.
true. Just
So
the one
they're-
that's true.
They're food stories. Okay. I have my suspicions of this. All right. I cannot see cheese flavored coffee.
It sounds
That does not sound like a good combo. It does not. Okay. Avocado flavored Coca-Cola is a no-go, and chocolate mayonnaise just sounds so ridiculous. Sounds a little creepy. I think that there is probably. I think the true story is the bacon lube.
Okay, so Derek says bacon lube. All right. So here's what I'm thinking. The Heinz mayo, chocolate mayo, that's out. There's no way. Nobody could. They would lose their job if they came up with Heinz chocolate mayo. You're gone. You're fired immediately.
You've got to compete with the Nutella market.
But you
Nutella's
wouldn't
got
call it chocolate mayo.
If it's like actually
Yeah, if it's
chocolate
just-
flavored mayonnaise,
Yeah,
then I'd
no.
be like no. But if it's like if they're just calling it chocolate mayonnaise,
but that's even
and it's
that's
just
terrible.
Nutella.
Well,
then
the article
Okay.
didn't say.
So the number
Yeah.
4, the Starbucks. Okay, now these two that are coming up here, the Starbucks one is slightly possible because they've come out with some very disgusting frappuccinos lately. And I'm not kidding. The unicorn thing that everybody bought, that thing was disgusting. Yep. And they did another one recently. I can't remember what it was, but it was awful. People talked about how terrible it was, but they sold tons of them. Okay. The other thing, that Coke story, the only reason I believe it not to be true is because they came out with some very weird Diet Coke flavors. Okay. Not disgusting.
This is a sugar-free zero
not
brand.
Disgusting like avocado, but there was some weird ones in there. Okay. So I'm going with Derek, and I think the bacon lube is the truth. But I'm telling you, I will not be surprised if Starbucks is the truth. Now go ahead.
I'll say, if I'll throw the caveat out there, if Heinz is going to put out a competing product for Nutella and they're just calling it chocolate mayonnaise, but it's not actually chocolate mayonnaise, I could see that. But I've already, locked in my vote.
Okay.
With the bacon lube, because that just feels all American to me.
I mean, they have bacon soda and stuff. So okay, here's the moment of truth. Bob, what's the true story?
If you go to baconaddicts.com, you can buy a 2-ounce bottle for $19.99.
Woo!
Listen, I'm telling you though, I would not ever count Starbucks or Coke out of this conversation again, because the main thing with that Heinz one though, Derek, is you would not call it mayonnaise. That would be like the marketing nightmare.
But it's oh yeah, but the key was Heinz makes mayonnaise, so that was kind of the connection there.
So if you would have said
obviously these were all
ketchup, I would have maybe thought that was true.
So these are all food related, and that's what you'll find on our fake news segment. Is all of the topics are going to wind up being within the same category.
Bob is going to find one true one.
So they're comparable.
Very exciting.
But I'm going to find one true one. And it took me a while to find the J&D's Bacon Lube. And speaking of that, J&D's Bacon Lube, if you want to sponsor the show.
No, I draw the line at J&D's Bacon Lube.
No, feel free. No.
Send us a bottle, we'll test it, and we'll let you know.
You start using the bacon lube and you're like, man, I'm hungry.
Terrible.
Forget this. Let's go eat.
All right. So listen, we're going to revisit a topic that did cause a little bit of drama the first time we talked about, but now we're going to go a little more in depth. Today we're going to talk about the Flat Earth Society, and we're going to dig a little deeper. We couldn't help ourselves based on the reaction that we received when we kind of goofed on it a little bit. So
Talk about that reaction real quick, so people understand.
They found us out of nowhere.
They found
these
us.
people, listen, they must be scouring the interwebs because they found us and attacked. It wasn't totally ruthless, but like Benon, our friend from Gives a Minute, he's been getting hammered by these people. If you say that you think Flat Earth is crazy, you better watch out, because people will be coming for you. There's no doubt about it. So we're going to revisit it and talk a little bit about it. We're going to try and keep an open mind. We're going to learn a little bit about Flat Earth today. That's what we're going to discuss today on Hey We're Talking right after this. Today's show is brought to you by Gamefly.com. Go to Gameflyoffer.com/HWT today. Hey everybody, welcome back. We're getting ready to dive into our topic for today. And as we told you beforehand, we're jumping into some Flat Earth again. Okay, now I'm going to just tell you straight up right at the beginning of this, I'm going to throw out the theories, and we're going to try to keep an open mind. Now, granted, all of us have read through this, okay, so we know what we're about to say. We're going to try to keep an open mind. Derek, what do you have to say about the open mind?
I just wanted to give everyone a quick reminder. We did this as a master debaters
totally goofed on it.
Segment a couple of months ago. It was just supposed to be a fun little bit that we had on the show. We were supposed to argue. I was given the task of arguing for a flat Earth. Like it was so stupid that because it's like,
remember,
yeah,
open mind, Derek.
This is a dumb argument. But
I'm kidding.
But it somehow brought in like the people who are the flat Earth advocates who believe in that, and they were all like, Derek, man, you crushed it, man. you did so good. I'm like,
little did we know, like Derek needed another thing to make him popular. Now he's got the flat earthers on his side.
Right.
Yep. No, I mean, it was there were so many people that were like a lot of flat earth people that were like, I know you guys are just making fun of it, but you need to do your own research. And so we're gonna revisit this, and we're gonna get some more. We're gonna get sciencey. So take it away, Scott. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
So I will say most of this information came from the Flat Earth Society website.
Yeah.
They have a frequently asked question segment that I grabbed a lot of this information off of. But also there's modern Flat Earth Society. There's several different societies that don't even agree with each other, but they all have their theories. So if you are watching and you are from the Flat Earth Society and you don't agree with this, remember, it might have come from one of the different belief systems within your group. Yeah. I will say I did email the Flat Earth Society and asked them if they would come on and explain what we do and all of this stuff, and they never responded to my email.
That's sad.
So, and that was a week and a half ago. So
it's like Catholics versus Protestants.
Yes.
Yeah. So
instead of believing in God, they believe in a flat Earth, but there's just different.
Right. Yeah, and they all have different theologies within their whole group. Okay. So I just wanted to throw that out there, so you Flat Earth Society people didn't get offended when you say, "Well, this isn't what we believe," but there's a modern Flat Earth Society that believes a little bit different.
We're basically just giving an overview of what we've looked into. Okay, so that's by we I mean Bob. Okay. So here's the stuff that I kind of highlighted in this, okay? There's this guy in the 19th century, was a writer, Samuel Rowbotham. I'm going to get in trouble for saying his name wrong. He promoted flat earth in a book that he wrote called Zetetic Astronomy. Now, Samuel Rowbotham was a showman, and he perfected the use of pseudoscience in his debates, okay? That's just a little background. I'm not saying anything yet. We'll dive into that a little bit more. Flat earth theory holds that the earth is a disc, okay? We're talking about the whole point is it's not a sphere, it's a disc. Now, this disc has the Arctic Circle in the middle. Yep, Bob's holding up a little plate. If you're not watching, he's holding up a disc.
Wait,
it's the top of a candle thing, okay? In the middle of it is the Arctic Circle in the center. And then all around that disc, perfect that you have that little rim on there, is Antarctica, okay? It's a 150-foot tall wall of ice that goes around the rim. And so what flat earthers believe is that this disk is protected by an invisible barrier called the firmament, and it's a dome-like structure that goes over the top of the disk, and that NASA employees guard this ice wall to prevent people from climbing over and falling off the disk. All right? Now, as far as gravity, that's a
NASA employee.
As far as Earth's gravity is concerned, there's some other stuff they talk about here about how the sun and the moon and all this kind of stuff works, but it's a little too inside baseball at the moment. The Earth's gravity, in their definition, is an illusion because these objects, they don't accelerate downward. Instead, the disk of the Earth accelerates upwards at 32 feet per second. So we're constantly going up. It's about 9.8 meters per second squared, okay? We're driven up by a mysterious force that they call dark energy. All right, I'm trying to be real here. Underneath the Earth, they're not positive on what's underneath the Earth, but a lot of flat earthers believe that it's composed of rocks, okay?
Hold on.
Just the bottom. There's just rocks on the bottom. It's in your pocket. I know. Go ahead and get it. Man, he's having a tough time.
Like as part of the disc, or like below the Earth, like under the disc.
I would think it's attached to the disc.
That's the flat Earth.
Okay, so as far as photos that we've seen of the Earth, like when they go into space and stuff like that, they believe that those are photoshopped. Okay. They also believe that GPS devices are rigged to make airline pilots think they're flying in straight lines around a sphere when actually they're flying in circles above the disk. So the world government's concealment of the true shape of the Earth has not been ascertained, but flat earthers believe it is probably financial. So in a nutshell, it would logically cost much less to fake a space program than to actually have one. So those in the conspiracy profit from the funding of NASA and other space agencies to receive money from the government.
So I've read pieces of a whole bunch of articles, and they believe, you know, the Russian government and the U.S. government are behind that.
Together.
So an elite group, so an elite group of people can financially profit off of it. Because let's say the U.S. government decides we're going to spend, you know, $20 billion for our NASA funding. Well, if we're not really doing anything with the money, then everybody within that conspiracy theory organization gets a cut of that $20 billion or whatever the case may be. So that's when they talk they're financially, you know, taken care of because of that. And it would hold the same for like the Russian government or all the other governments that have a space program.
So the one thing I didn't get too deep into, but I will share a couple of things with you. Sun and moon are another thing that they talk about a lot. So the sun is not this giant luminous body. They believe it's more like a spotlight that shines on only a part of the earth at a time, and it gives us day and night. And the seasons are created by the sun narrowing and widening the circle, shining more on what would be like the northern and southern hemispheres. So it's basically like a spotlight. And the moon, again, it's the same kind of thing. They believe that the sun and the moon are circling our disk, and they're used almost like spotlights and all this kind of stuff. So they're disks also. That's why when we see them in the sky, they look round. Go ahead, Bob.
One thing that I did not put on this information, but I did read is they do believe there's some kind of anti-moon or something that does block the sun in that period of time when it does go dark.
Yeah, you have that on here.
So they're not sure.
It says flat earthers believe there must be an invisible anti-moon that obscures the moon during lunar eclipses.
Yes.
But how come I can talk to Danny Black when it's dark here and it's light in Australia?
Because the anti-moon.
And also the spotlight's shining on Danny Black, not on us.
Well, that's true, but that's always true. The spotlight is always on Danny.
That is true.
Yes, it is.
That was good. Anyway, all right. So this is like those are very basic. We didn't go super deep into it. I'm sure that there are people who can give you a lot more information. And just like Bob said, we emailed the Flat Earth Society, and if they want to come on the show, trust me, we won't poke fun at you. We'd love to hear what you have to say. I'm not saying we're going to believe you, but we will listen to what you have to say.
And that's what I said on the email was basically that, you know, we're not believers, but we're open-minded and willing to have a intelligent conversation about it. So, but they just didn't respond. It's possible that they just didn't see it or whatever the case may be. But this is something that we could always. I mean, I don't mind revisiting it because believe it or not, there are some well-known names that believe in the flat Earth, including, you know, a lot of celebrities and stuff like that.
Here's the one thing I will say, though. Generally speaking, and this is just from my perspective, I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. Generally speaking, even as I'm describing to you what they believe, you have to believe in a lot of conspiracies to believe some of this stuff. That there's a mass shadow government or something that's trying to stop us from knowing the truth. Listen, the older I get, the more that I'm not totally against believing ideas that there might be some people. I mean, you just look at the stuff going on in the United States right now. It's not hard to believe that there are people trying to change things with power. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, the only celebrities that I'm going to believe, if they believe in flat Earth, it's Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck, because they left the Earth. And they went on to an asteroid, and they blew up that asteroid and saved the Earth.
I thought
in
you were going to say you
in
would
1998.
Tom Wiseau said it was true, but you did not.
I did not say that. But
so listen, I'm going to let you guys. Here's some of the quote unquote easy ways that you can tell for yourself that the Earth is not flat. Now I'm going to let Bob and Derek kind of throw some of those out there, if that's what they want to talk about.
So.
Before I even get into the list, all right, I'm trying. I want to react to everything you just said. because you're talking about dark energy is pushing the Earth up, and gravity is fake, and the Earth is a disc. It's not like a ball, but it's like the map of the Earth has been smushed out, and the North Pole's in the middle, and the South Pole's a circle of ice on the edges, and
we've
it's
established
basically
that.
if you like
wall of ice. Where is
it and split it open and pushed it up?
If this is true, where is the picture of the 150-foot wall of ice? And
it's in
if
Antarctica.
there's no space why is there even? But I've seen documentaries of Antarctica,
and they have huge glaciers that are tall. That's 150-foot wall tall.
Yeah, but they got helicopters. I didn't see an impenetrable wall of ice.
Well, they didn't let anybody get there because NASA is protecting it.
And plus, I want to know what dark energy is. That sounds made up.
So, well, let me just say no. Let me just say this: when they're talking about dark energy, they're probably talking about dark matter. So, dark matter is a real scientific thing that scientists don't even understand. So, there are certain spots in space that just have this strange energy field, and they've considered that dark matter. That's where they believe wormholes and other things like that exist. But a
little bit. What do you think, Derek?
They've never sent anything into those areas of dark matter. I took a honest approach to look at this stuff and try to research as much as I possibly could, and that's why I threw as much information on here as possible. That way you guys could have a real take at this.
But it doesn't sound like they even believe we live in a solar system, or they don't believe the sun is a star. They say the sun is a spotlight. What about the stars in the sky?
Yeah.
What about
what do they say about the stars at night that are big and bright?
Deep in the heart of Texas.
The stars exist. No, they believe that the stars are there and that they exist.
Are they round though, or are they discs also?
They didn't specify what the stars were. But, obviously stars exist, and they believe that. They believe that, as the Earth is there, being very flat as it is. See, I got to do this. I got to make the Earth flat, just like this.
He's holding up the disc again for those listening on the podcast.
They believe that the stars move. As we move, the stars move.
So if we're flying upwards, though, why are those stars? Are they also flying upwards because we don't get closer to stars?
That's another thing they did not specify.
All right.
I'm having a hard time with this, Bob. And the thing is that there are literally thousands of amateur astronomers out there with very powerful telescopes, powerful homemade telescopes. There are several huge government-sponsored telescopes that different universities, different independent astronomers get access to, not just glass, optical telescopes, but radio telescopes and different things in different parts of the world, and they're doing their own independent research. There's no government organization that's got that's got their eyeball on every single astronomer looking up out there, and they're using advanced calculus, advanced math to see how we're moving and the distance between us and other planets and the sun and the moon. And it's like I'd have to really just because I don't understand calculus, it's like the flat earth people are asking me to not believe anything any scientist says because you can't directly observe it, just by standing up, because it looks like we live on a flat earth because we're looking around, it looks flat. It looks like the sun is just some spotlight. But it's like they're asking us to not believe any scientific research done on it because maybe they don't fully understand that themselves.
Well, that's possible. But, they believe that, they don't believe that science has it right. They say, I've read several things that scientists have a lot of their math right. Even back in the day when Samuel, whatever his name is, had these theories, and there was somebody else, and I'm trying to remember who. No, there was somebody else besides Robotham, but there was somebody else that they said they had all his math right, like all his mathematical calculations were right, but he didn't have the technology at that time to really understand what those mathematical calculations led to. So, I mean, they've got a pretty good theory here.
Sure about that?
Well, I mean,
you're trying to be nice.
They've got no. I'm trying to be neutral at this point. I mean, I know I believe what I believe, but they've put together a lot of documentation. A lot of questions have been answered about what they believe.
But at the same time, they're saying that GPS isn't real, science isn't real, the photos that we've taken of the Earth are not real. All the scientific evidence that we've acquired
is like, for me especially, some of the things, I'm just looking over the 10 easy ways you can tell for yourself the Earth is not flat. Like, one of the ones I brought up when we had this debate in the first place is just look at the other planets. I mean, just like you're saying, Derek, you're looking through a telescope, you see a star or a planet. It's a round sphere. And I know they're going to say that just means it's a disk that we can see from here. But they claim that we're flat like this going upward. But if I look at Jupiter, it's flat sideways. Why is that one flat sideways and we're flat horizontally going up? I don't understand. There's a lot of stuff that's crazy.
So here on the Flat Earth Society, it says, is the Earth accelerating upwards? So this was probably what the message we had was probably from the modern Earth Flat Society. So is the Earth accelerating upwards? No, this is a popular theory among small groups to explain gravity, but it is problematic at best. The Earth is stationary, so this is another take on it. We are not whizzing about in space at 67,000 miles an hour or at speeds accelerating towards the speed of light. So this particular group, the Flat Earth Society, they don't believe that we're accelerating upward, but the modern Flat Earth Society, they believe different.
They think we're going at the speed of light.
No, we're not even moving. Is that what they're saying?
So they are saying here that the Earth is stationary.
So we're just sitting there.
But then 3 sentences later, you said we're moving at speeds approaching.
He said we are not whizzing at speeds of 67,000 miles an hour. So this is the Flat Earth Society. The modern Flat Earth Society has a different take. And that's what I said at the beginning is there are several groups of the believers that don't agree on their own theories. They all agree that the Earth is flat, but all the things in between are different. Just like, let's just say religion. You know, a lot of people believe in God, but they believe in Jesus or they don't, or they believe this happened and this happened. And that's really what we have with this.
My thing with when people say they don't believe in Jesus, what I say is, well, you don't believe that he came back to life because he was a human being. It's documented in history books that Jesus was a person. So if anybody says that, by the way, he was real. He's a human being on the earth. Okay. Sorry. There's just an aside I had to throw out there. Derek, what were you going to say about this flat earth? You sound like you're going to say something else. I want to hear it.
I don't know. I'm just flabbergasted. There's just too much.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of leaps. There's a lot of contradicting. It's like there's a whole bunch of contradicting theories within this flat Earth movement, and they're asking you to really like believe in like these huge conspiracies. Yeah. And what we've discussed before is that huge conspiracies cannot function. It's impossible. They will not. They cannot. They can go on for a while, but eventually somebody figures it out. So you're right.
When there's the fewer that people that are involved in a conspiracy, the stronger it is. But the more people you add, is the more somebody's going to screw up. Someone's going to get drunk. Someone's going to talk, and it's going to break down.
Unless they're related to the Clintons.
Somebody's going to say something on their deathbed. You know, I mean, somebody's going to say something on their deathbed that, hey, I didn't really walk on the moon or this or that. But
as long as they don't know the Clintons, they'll be okay.
Look, there and look,
missing the joke. That's such a
we've
good
got
joke.
10.
You get killed if you talk.
Yeah,
Derek and I
I'm not going to let you. I'm going to force it.
We have Bob put together a list 10 easy ways you can tell for yourself that the Earth is not flat, and it makes sense. We're going to go over it. Well, go ahead, Bob.
I just want to say that this list came from popularscience.com.
Yeah.
So I decided to go with this because to me they were pretty logical 10 reasons But I want to give credit to popularscience.com because that's where I found all the information.
We're going to have to scoot through and we're going to somewhat quickly, but because we're running out of time.
Yeah, we're gonna hit these, but this is where I'm gonna throw my little theory out there. Is that the flat Earth people, they don't really believe in flat Earth. I believe that is an organization of deep trolls.
It's like the highest level troll available.
Yes, they're doing it for the fun of it. Maybe they're wanting to do it so that we question things. There may be a more noble cause to it. Maybe they're trying to discredit. Maybe they want to get us to question.
Maybe it's just like intellectual people who are bored and they like watching people get upset about the idea that the Earth is flat.
Yeah, but maybe they think if they can get people to question, well-established scientific ideas, maybe we'll be a little bit more open to questioning things like our government, religion, and other things. Other stuff like that. Maybe that's the goal. Maybe it's not so much trolling. Maybe it's just a society of people who just are skeptical and they want you to ask questions. So, with that said, I'm not going to trash them. I was thinking about it, but as I was coming up with that, maybe. Because I was thinking, they're just trolls. They're just trying. They get on our videos.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely get on our videos, and they were making very inflammatory remarks, like just like do your own research. Don't be an idiot.
I think
the guy said calling names
is what he said, which is not a nice word. By the way, don't say that.
They're calling names. Yeah, they're calling us names. And they're not really throwing any information out there. They're just saying, how could you blindly accept that the Earth is a sphere, you sheep, or something like? I'm like, that's
and they didn't even give us any resources to look into. Hey, go to this website. Nothing. They just kind of were mean and bash things out there. So
I'm kidding. I could really care.
Let's hit the list, Bob. Go ahead.
So let me start number one with number one, the moon. Aristotle noticed that during the lunar eclipse, when the Earth's orbit places it directly between the sun and the moon, creating a shadow in the process. So the shadow on the moon's surface is round. So when he was basically Aristotle's way back when he was researching and an eclipse occurred, he saw that the Earth's shadow on the moon was actually a round shape, not a flat shape.
Yeah.
So that's just number one.
That shading, by the way, happens all through the moon's cycle. Have you noticed this? We have a new moon, we have a full moon, quarter moon. That's happening all the time. Okay.
Yeah. So number two,
but that may be the
light in the sky.
Artificial moon or whatever they're calling it. That's
a stretch.
That does that.
Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah. Well, number two, ships and the horizon. Approaching ships don't just appear out of the horizon like they would if the world was flat. They seem to kind of emerge beneath the sea, and they kind of slowly submerge. That's kind of a clue that the world has curvature and is not flat.
Yeah.
Because they don't
Derek,
just
do the third one too, because this is one of the things you talked about, the stars.
Yeah. Yeah, the varying star constellation observation originally was made by Aristotle, who declared the Earth was round, judging from different constellations one sees while moving away from the equator. And he saw he said there are stars seen in Egypt, Cyprus, that he can't see in the north. So the phenomenon can only be explained if humans were viewing the stars from a round surface.
Yeah, so if you were looking up at the stars and we're flat all over, we'd all see the same stars all the time. We'd see the same constellations.
Right.
But because not only the thing that people we're not talking about very much in this, the Earth is a sphere, but not only is that sphere rotating and going around the sun, but we're also, as time goes by, tilting. We're moving,
wobbling
side to side. Also, the axis changes, and that's how you're seeing different things all the time. During the summer, you're going to see different things than you see during the winter. I mean, this whole thing is very complex.
That's the piece that I didn't understand out of everything I read for the flat Earth stuff, was just how we always see different constellations depending on the time of the year, because sometimes I can see the Big Dipper and the Small Dipper, and then depending on where the Earth rotates and stuff like that, I can't see them certain times of the year. So where do they go? That's my question. But I really couldn't find a lot of information on that piece.
They're working on it. Flat Earth guys, they're working on that. But yeah, too long didn't read. The Earth is a sphere, and depending on where you are where you're located, you're going to see different stars, based on where you are. So
this is the
there
one
you
that
go.
I kind of talked about when we were throwing everything out there. If you put a stick in the ground, you know how they used to make a clock by putting something in the ground, and the sun would hit it, and it would show you kind of what time it was. Okay, if you put a stick in the ground and it casts a shadow, and you put a stick in the ground somewhere else, they don't show the same time. They're being hit differently, and the shadows are different. They would be exactly the same if the Earth was flat, and they're not. Okay? So, number 5, Derek, hit us.
You can see farther the higher up you go. So that kind of just, as you increase your altitude, you're able to see more surface of the Earth because it is curved. If you're standing on a flat plateau, you can look towards the horizon, and then you could take your favorite binoculars out and see further. And then as you get up higher,
even if you climb up a tree, basically, and if you look through your binoculars, you're going to see further. And then this one, Bob, this one is the one that I think really helps seal the deal a little bit for me.
Yeah, and to me, I see this often just for the fact that I do fly a lot. So ride in a plane. If you've ever taken a trip out of the country, specifically long distance trips, you notice that 2 interesting facts about planes and the Earth. Planes can travel in a relatively straight line for a long time and not fall off any edges. I mean, that's kind of an important thing. We don't hit an ice wall. And we can circle the Earth without stopping. The second piece of that is if you look out the window on a transatlantic flight, you can most of the time see curvature of the Earth on the horizon. So one thing that I did read is flat Earth believers believe that they intentionally curve the windows on the plane.
Oh my gosh.
So you can see the curve of the Earth.
Okay.
Again, that's like such deep conspiracy theories that everybody's got to be on. You're just going to have one guy like, there's not been one person who's like, yeah, we do that. No, because that's ridiculous.
Okay. So this one right here, number 7 that we have, and I'm trying to speed it up because we're almost out of time, but we already talked about looking at the other planets. I already said that. And then number 8, the existence of time zones. This one, again, to me, why would we have time zones if we're all flat? This can only be explained that the world's round. It's rotating around on its own axis. At certain points when the sun is shining on one part of the Earth, the opposite side is dark, and vice versa. Go ahead, Bob.
So what the flat earthers are going to say to that is that's because the anti-moon is getting in the way of the sun, and that changes the time.
It's just such a leap.
The time zone.
Just like Derek said.
I'm basing it off of the information that I read from several different websites of theirs. So that's going to be their argument. That's going to be their argument.
And the pull of gravity, we've talked about this a little bit, but mass, it attracts things to it. So the force of attraction, gravity between two objects depends on their mass and the distance between them. Simply said, gravity will pull toward the center of a mass of the objects. To draw the center of a mass, you have to examine the object. So they go into detail about a sphere and a flat plane.
Yeah, what they're saying is that if this were, we're on a sphere, so gravity pulls us down. If we were on a disc, then gravity would be pulling us maybe slightly north. So we'd be it'd be tilted a little bit to the north. Yeah, that ain't happening.
So then this is the one that I feel like this is the king of all of them, but everybody says it's all bull, and that's just images from space.
It's part of the NASA government conspiracy.
Take these pictures and you can see a globe. You see the globe. How? Why? Who? How many of these people would be in on this? I just don't get it. It would be such a huge conspiracy.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, that's the thing. It's got to be the biggest conspiracy that you could absolutely imagine ever.
So I don't think we changed our minds, guys. What do you think? I feel like we still think it's not
No,
true.
I don't believe in the concept of a flat Earth, and I don't think that if anybody I mean, like I said, I don't think that the flat Earth people truly believe it. Maybe a few of them do, but I think the organization exists just to create skepticism, get people to question things. Maybe they're trolls. Maybe that's just what their purpose is. But I don't think their actual purpose is to change, get people to believe in a flat Earth. And if they do actually get people to believe in a flat Earth, then they're just laughing at them like, ha ha, you're silly for actually believing.
We are literally we're about to fall off the edge of the planet called Hey, We're Talking. So at this point, we're going to say goodbye. Listen, we could talk about this more, I would assume, at some point, but...
Well, we're not going to talk about it again until we get somebody on from the Flat Earth Society. So if you are a Flat Earth person that wants to come on and talk to us, email us at heywe'retalking@gmail.com. Have a real conversation. Bring us on. Try to convince
call us names. We'll actually talk to you and not make fun of you.
We're not going to bash you. Nothing. Let's just have an honest conversation about it.
So on that note, listen, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please tell your friends about us. Please go visit our great friend Chris Bean. He talked about us on his YouTube channel and gave away the code to give us credit for people coming to buy coffee from him. So use the code HWT
if you go to
at Numa Coffee.
For NumaCoffee.com.
20% off.
Yes. I was actually just drinking some of the Honduran this afternoon.
That's what I had today as well.
That's why I'm
By the way,
wired.
House Blend. Love it. That's my favorite so far. I know that's probably not popular with all you coffee snobs, but I loved the House Blend.
That Guatemalan Rio Ocho, or however you say it. I always mess it up. But it's Guatemalan something. No, Ocho Rio or something like that. That, to me, that's my favorite out of everything I've tried out of
so
the three blends
Numa
I've tried
Coffee,
so far.
that's PNEUMA, P as in Paul, NEUMA, coffee.com. Use the coupon code HWT. You'll get 20% off. Thank you, Chris. He gave us a great shout out. We thank all of you guys. Visit us on Facebook, YouTube. Download the podcast on your favorite podcasting app. We love you. We'll talk to you soon. And hopefully we've given you a little bit of education on Flat Earth. But I don't think we changed anybody's mind.